Welcome to the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music. We bring music to life. For information about private and group music lessons, call 510-397-0721 or visit us at cvsom.com. And now, here's your host of the Castro Valley Compass, Shane Sharkey.
Thank you guys for coming in. This is so exciting. Our very first Chamber Chat with the Chair here on the Castro Valley Compass of 2026.
I know, we took a little hiatus there.
It's been, I can't believe it's already April. Geez, almost the middle of April. Yeah, well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And we're excited to welcome Aisha Knowles here. I'm sure we're going to find more about you and your member or your position with the chair and all that good stuff. But Janella, get us caught up. What's the first quarter been like?
Oh, the Chamber's still rocking it. We are still doing great things in the community. We just had our last mixer at Patelco in Castro Valley. Still killing it with the attendance. So we've had, I think there was over 80 people there.
Wow.
Still mixing, mingling, and growing. The one before that was at Crunch. So big attendance. So that's another big reason to join the Chamber and become a Chamber member, because as a Chamber member, you get to come in free to the mixers.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's $10, but it's so worth it because the connections that you make, pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
we're actually working on getting some testimonials from our Chamber members. So
cool.
Let us know if you want to make one.
Well, it's pretty amazing how many connections you can make there at the mixers and just the variety of different types of business owners that come together. It's especially in such a small community as Castro Valley and surrounding areas. I mean, really quickly, remind us the areas. It's not just Castro Valley. It's
we're unincorporated. Oh, I wish I had my unincorporated. I do have an unincorporated shirt on today. Yes. It's just not the one that tells you. So we're Ashland, Cherryland, Fairview, Castro Valley, and Hayward Acres, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So anywhere around that.
Valley.
Yeah.
So the Castro Valley Eden area Chamber of Commerce.
There you go. And we're going to find out more about the coming mixer coming up here in April as well.
We'll talk about that now, actually.
Sure.
We can move on to some upcoming Chamber events. So one of my favorite events that we do is the Student Citizens Award, and that is on April 23rd, and we have all schools participate in our areas. So that's really exciting, and I get to stand up there and give them their award and see their smiling little faces. And so we get a lot of sponsors for that, and they sponsor the table, and the sponsor gets to sit with the family, the student, the teacher, or a staff member that comes to support them. So it's a lot of fun. And then I had the fun idea of having the table, the decoration be books. And so we get books donated, and then the students get to take away the book from the table. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's continued on.
And is that at the golf course?
Yes.
Okay. I remember last year when they had that. And so what about businesses that want to get involved and become a sponsor? Do they just reach out to you at the chair?
It's a little late now. I think we've,
okay.
I think we're probably always looking for a sponsor, but I think we might have them taken up. Because that's only a few weeks away.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. Well,
next year.
There you go.
There's a lot of things you could sponsor for. So anyone that wants to get involved with the Chamber and sponsor, there's plenty of sponsor opportunities.
Sure.
So reach out.
Including the mixers. There was the shout outs, I think, that you donate something from your business. That's kind of a mini sponsorship.
Well, that's if you bring a raffle prize.
Okay.
So if you just bring a raffle prize to our mixer, you get to do a commercial.
That's right.
Like you are saying, you're busy and sometimes you can't make it to the mixers.
Yes.
And we're seeing that. We're seeing that, a lot of people want to get involved and come to the Chamber, and they still want to mix and mingle. So the San Lorenzo Business Alliance, that's something that happens during the day. And you can check out our calendar. If you go to our website, which I'll give at the end, you can check out all the events that we do. And so Sandy Martinez, our amazing social media maven, the one that does all our producing, all of our videos, all of our production, and has, I think, our social media is up 280% or something. I think the stats came out. It's incredible. And so her and Monica Chikara, she's a local realtor. I brought her on to our board too because she's amazing in the community as well. And she lives in San Lorenzo. So we wanted to bring a part of San Lorenzo because so much is heavily in Castro Valley, and a lot of people just think it's the Castro Valley Chamber. And so Sandy and Monica have taken the San Lorenzo Business Alliance to the next level. I thought I was doing big things with it, but oh my gosh, we had, I think, 30 people at their last meeting at Bruja. And then they made a connection with one of our chamber members that was looking to make a connection. Then she did a pop-up with her chicken and waffles at the Bruja coffee place, which was amazing. The connections that the chamber makes with our businesses, it's so awesome. And now they're going to be launching because these are things that can happen during the day and not just a nighttime mixer. The Castro Valley Business Alliance coming soon. So they're going to be launching that soon to start.
Nice.
And so you just go to different chamber member or non-chamber members, and we show them how powerful our chamber is getting people in the room. And so we try to get them to become a chamber by bringing people to their restaurant or to their coffee shop or whatever it is that they're doing, and bring some light to their business. So it's really cool. Yeah. So coming soon.
Yes.
Wait for that announcement. Hopefully maybe we'll get Sandy and Monica on the podcast once it launches and have them talk about it, which would be really, really cool. Yeah. I see Sandy over there saying, she wants to be behind the mic. She's always on the other side of it. So it'd be good to get her over here. And so I think I just went over what it was by head. I didn't even have to look at my notes. Look at me. I thought I was going to need my glasses, but it's all by memory. So, and then just a friendly reminder, your member benefits, you get a commercial. We talked about when you come to the mixer, you get to do a commercial, but you get a 30-second video made by the one and only Sandy Martinez with Emerald Gate Studios here in Castro Valley.
Yep.
So, and it's amazing. I mean, she does a little too much for you. But, the end result is great, and the person feels wonderful about what they did because they're like, I don't do commercials. I just sell dog shampoo. What do you want me to talk about? We'll talk about your business, your passion, show what you're selling. And she just makes you feel so comfortable behind the camera. Yep. So she's amazing. And so speaking of amazing, we have Aisha Knowles here.
Thank you.
On our awesome board.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's great. And this is your floor. You get to talk about.
No,
I hope you bring some of the apology in there. We want to hear about that. I got to see it at Lake Chabot, and I want it more. I want it more. Is there going to be a part 2?
There may be. It's interesting that you should ask that because
you heard it here first, guys. I'm just kidding.
The work is not done, right? The storytelling is an ongoing adventure. And
so what is it that you're talking about? Is it a play? Or?
So it's not a play. It's a feature-length documentary that I was able to serve as the producer of.
Oh, nice.
It is about Russell City. So Russell City was an unincorporated community in Hayward where 205 families.
I was going to say, is it more about the families in Russell City and Russell City?
13 businesses and 7 churches. So the families were forced out as a result of eminent domain exercised by the Alameda County Redevelopment Agency, and so the Board of Supervisors served as the board of the redevelopment agency at that time. And so my dad he grew up in Russell. He was born and raised in Russell City, and so it kind of we talked to former residents about what that period of time was like and what the impact was, and fast forward. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's called The Apology because after, nearly 70 years, the county of Alameda has never issued an apology to the Russell City community. And, one of the significant things that I'm grateful that I was able to be a part of is after a couple of the county supervisors saw the documentary, they took the steps to apologize to the Russell City community.
Wow.
And as we do this podcast or as you create, social media content, I never imagined that, when you have a storyline or you talk about the significance of something, you don't know what's going to happen next. I never, if you would have told me, 3 years ago that you're going to create a documentary or be a part of a documentary and lift up the stories of so many that have been, that people have tried to erase. And then that would result in not only an apology from the County Board of Supervisors, but, other things related to that. So there is a Russell City Redress Fund that was created. There are conversations around, the history and storytelling in the unincorporated area, which, I live in Ashland. I, grew up, was born and raised in Hayward. And, and even though I have been around, a lot of people who've had these, connected experiences, I never necessarily knew the history of our own community. Right. And so, I feel like community, part of community work and making community connections is also, learning the history of what has happened in those communities, to ensure that, some of the history doesn't necessarily repeat itself.
Right.
How are we reviewing policy? How are we making connections?
Exactly.
How are we improving, the area in which we
Who are
live?
making those decisions
how
that
do we
block
keep
things
it
from happening and that
yes.
change an entire world? I mean, it changed lives
Yes.
on things that were blocked and
Yes.
not able for that. It should have just been a yes, you can get your pipes put in. Yes, you can change this.
Yes.
And it would have been a whole different story for
Mhm.
many, many, many generations of wealth, home
Yes.
equity. Like it makes me sick.
Yeah. And the
I mean,
unique thing is, when we're talking about the unincorporated area, so Russell City was unincorporated. And you see there are other unincorporated communities that have been around for over 100 years. And so what made, part of pulling together and piecing together the film was trying to identify what made this community so different from the other unincorporated communities. It had its own school district. It had a health center. There were county services being provided there. There was a county library. And so, I think as I kind of travel this path of, adulting and, supporting.
Discovering.
Yes, and discovering, I am reflective about how we learn about history in the unincorporated area, how that history is documented, what history is prioritized, how we do research when that history isn't present, and how we validate and verify the history of our
When
community.
it's swept under a rug and not
Yes.
just present. I mean,
Yes.
it's just like totally looked over. Like,
Yes.
so kudos to you for
Thank
bringing
you.
light to it and getting that
Thank you.
apology.
Thank you. Yes.
So
And how can people see the film? Is it something that's available?
It's not available online. We're still going to film festivals,
Okay.
which I'm
cool.
very grateful for.
we should start publishing those on our chamber page.
Oh, yes.
Let's
You know
put
what?
those
You're right.
on
You're right.
there.
You are right.
Please.
It's a
you.
balance. So we try to do about one screening a month. So
Really cool.
tomorrow I'm going to Tennyson High School, and we have 8 classes that will be watching
Oh,
the
that's
documentary,
incredible.
and we're going to talk
That's
about local
great.
history because, part of being in high school and being involved in the community is learning about what has happened in that community.
I love
A lot
that.
more interesting if you live in that area. You hear about things across the world, and it seems a little bit out
Yes.
of touch.
Oh,
but
this is so
in your
hyper local.
community,
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
For sure.
I don't know if this is an appropriate question to ask in this setting, but what was the eminent domain supposed to be for? Were they trying to build a freeway, or
They were not trying to build a freeway. Good question. The goal was to build an industrial park. So usually when you hear about, eminent domain or actions or acts of eminent domain, it's for a project that is supposed to benefit the public.
Right.
And so,
An industrial park?
an
Don't
industrial
forget about
park.
the public that already lives
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, is there not enough land elsewhere that could serve as that same purpose that's not going to relocate a bunch of people? And
That is
like-
why people will have to come watch the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Highly,
good
highly
question.
recommended. I was
Yes.
in tears.
yeah.
Yes.
I can only
I
imagine.
want it more. I mean, it was so sad.
Right.
It's a feeling. Like,
Yeah.
Well-
And so it's a feature-length documentary. It's 82 minutes long. And I'll be sure to share the website at the end so that those who are watching the podcast or listening
you can
later
say it
on.
now, and then we'll make sure we link it when we say
so
it.
to check out our dates for upcoming screenings, go to theapologyfilm.com.
The Apology Film.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Big Toe Audio started in my home studio in the first place after I started having more and more kids. We had no more room for our studio. I moved on to B Street, 1020 B Street, downtown Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first exposure to Hayward, and it's a cool, funky little downtown area. And one of the things that is still there, I was there not too long ago and saw it, is this cool mural that says Russell City.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I always
yeah.
thought,
Yes.
and the blues places that I grew up, my first endeavor in radio production was with a program called the House of Blues Radio Hour. Where I
That's
got
right. You
exposed
mentioned that
to
before. That's so cool.
all these blues musicians that I had no clue were all the
Yes.
precursors to the rock that I'd been listening to for years as a teenager. But to start learning about where that rock came from, and then to see that there was actually a history of that music right here in Hayward.
Yes.
I can't wait to see the film.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
And it's actually Hayward's coming back now. I mean, there's for a while there when my business was over there, there were some sort of iffy areas, but it's like that whole downtown. They've redone the whole street
awesome.
and made it's actually pretty cool, like nightlife and stuff there.
I love our East Bay area.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that.
Yes,
now let's
thank you.
get into what else is happening.
Yeah,
hot
so
topics
let's
in
talk
your life.
about chamber stuff. So I'm a member of the board on the chamber, and I get to be a part of a new public safety committee that was created. So I have 21 years of experience. I spent 21 years in the fire service, 15 years for the Alameda County Fire Department, and 6 years in the Fremont Fire Department.
Wow.
And so over that course of time, I had the honor of serving as the public information officer. And so I have seen so many different changes in public safety in terms of crisis communications and how we communicate and how we build relationships with community. And so that is what I get to focus on. I'm the co-chair of the new public safety committee on the chamber. Yeah. And so that is going to start up this year. And, I look forward to creating community in that way. I've always been a believer that it's important to develop relationships with community members, community-based organizations, local businesses prior to an emergency happening, and creating an open line of communication so that you know who you can talk to if you have questions, or or relationships are not based on fear first.
Right.
And so that is what we're going to be
Ruben
working
Pola
on.
was on our board, and he kind of got
police officer.
Yeah, he
I
kind of
met
got
Ruben.
real busy,
Yeah.
and so he stepped away from the board. But he wants to be on the public safety because you don't have to be on the board to be on a committee,
Right.
and so he'll be part of that committee also. And I think Tim Fritz wants to be on that board
Tim
too,
Fritz,
which
I
is great
believe
because he's
he also, I think he's going to
the owner
co-chair.
of the amazing Prize Booth, the
Yes.
cutest toy store in the whole Bay Area.
Yes.
So that's going to be a great group.
Yes.
It's
Really
funny
good.
that you mentioned when you were talking about having the first interaction be something other than fear-based.
Right.
Immediately, the first thing I thought of was Ruben. Meeting him at the Toys for Tots drive maybe 2 years ago. We were asked to bring some music out there to help drum up some interest at the Pete's Coffee, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Ruben came up to me and gave me his card. He's like, "Hey, just want to let you know we're here. You need anything?" I was like,
He's
"What
a really great guy.
cool guy, and what a great way to meet a
Yes.
police officer with a very friendly interaction that wasn't stress related."
Yes.
Totally.
And I've thought multiple times since then. I thought if I need something, I've got Ruben's number. I could certainly give him a call. And it's not this first time I'm meeting him is serious situation that is maybe not pleasant.
Yes.
But that's what a great. So what kind of things will you be doing? Do you have a?
The sky is the limit. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna be focused. I mean, this is going to show you a little bit of my age right now, but Ruben certainly does a great job and is very connected to the community. And there are a number of generations of deputies from the sheriff's office and CHP officers and other law enforcement professionals who've also played a role in, trying to maintain a connection with community. So many of you who are listening to this might remember the cop shop, and then the name changed to.
They're doing deputies and dogs. And
yes,
deputies
and there's so many new, I'll say newer events. But when I worked for the Alameda County Fire Department, there used to be a Cinco de Mayo festival on 167th Avenue. And they would shut down the street. And I, with the deputies, with Paul Liskey and some of the other, sergeants at the time or deputies at the time who were assigned to community policing, we would barbecue hundreds of chicken thighs, like hundreds and hundreds of pieces of chicken so that, people could come have a chicken sandwich during the festival. And so I think it's,
chicken thighs for Cinco de Mayo.
Listen,
that's totally 167th.
It's
I love it.
The aroma of the chicken was second to none. Like even if it was an organic, it was a real community festival, and so I think I was at a national night party at the Ashland Youth Center, and they had pizza, and so we had this whole discussion around like. Should we, should there be a barbecue next year, or should we continue with pizza, type of meal? And the difference when you have a community event and you're barbecuing, or when you're doing something and people can, see it, they can smell it.
brings
you
in.
know, it makes you think twice about, yeah, I wasn't going to go, but maybe I'll check it out.
Yep.
And I think that's, you
I
know,
like that.
in encouraging or creating an environment where people take the first step, you know, and you kind of bring community groups and we meet in a shared space is important because there's so many different ways that people get information now. I mean, we're doing a podcast, we're filming it, it's going to be on YouTube. You know, I am grateful that for my time in the fire service and, you know, working in community, I know what it is to, you know, I still have my notepad and a pen. You know, I had the pleasure of starting the social media accounts for the Alameda County Fire Department, which is another story for another day. We can talk all about, like, you know, I pray that I don't get dementia because I don't want to talk about tweeting, you know, during different incidents. But, you know, it's funny, right? Like, we used to read the newspaper daily. Now, you know, people can access it online. And there's so many different ways that people get their information. And so there's opportunity to, you know, connect with different audiences in that way. And I think influence, you know, the human element of what is such, you know, an AI kind of centered environment.
Well, I think that's where we have an advantage of being a human. It's kind of a weird sort of way. Like, you know, I don't think, I'm not as fearful of AI as I think a lot of people that I know, because I don't think, you know, even teaching music lessons, you know, you got computer aids and all that stuff, but there's never going to be anything that replaces the human-to-human contact.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Right.
But the thing that I think is interesting is this whole focus on mental health and the idea that we're bringing this out of the shadows and saying, hey, we all got to deal with this on some level. Let's create community that makes it possible that we, you know, talk about it as a normal course of business and not like a weird,
especially for young
taboo.
kids, because social media is brutal.
It is.
Oh my gosh,
it's brutal.
And to be able to, as a parent, somehow guide our kids in this world that is unlike what we grew up in. It's like, I don't even know how to begin telling
Technology
my kids.
has set us backwards, in my opinion.
Yes.
Can we just unplug the internet? Is that possible?
Right.
I wish.
That's what's so cool about what it sounds like you're about to do is sort of something that has not been done before that will, you know, help us come together. We've, you know, the chamber's focused on business, but you know, this is a little bit more of
we're
maybe
focused on business
twist.
and community.
And community.
I mean, we want to hit all
that's what's
targets.
So cool about this being part of the community, part of the chamber is like, what a great, well-rounded outlook.
Why, thank you.
Yes.
That's our goal.
Yes. And, you know, and I think there's also
and we have a great team
connection between, you know, safe schools, businesses that are successful, and, you know, and public safety. Like they don't operate in individual kind of orbits. Like they are all reliant on one another. And I think it's important to acknowledge that and talk about it and continue the conversation, right? Like there are going to be bad things that happen, but there are a lot of good things that happen. And so, you know, are we able to talk with one another? And even though we disagree, can we disagree without being disagreeable? And, you know, and I feel like that is something that I learned so much about from the fire service.
That's great.
You know, I learned that from the fire chief that hired me, Chief Bill McCammon, may he rest in peace. But I watched so many meetings. I mean, again, this is pre-social media. And so, you know, going to watch things live, county meetings, committee meetings, planning meetings, community meetings, there were disaster preparedness meetings. And I would watch how people showed up in the space, how they talked to one another, how they were knowledgeable about what was happening in the community. You know, did they read about it or did they live in the community? You know, and so that is one of the things, you know, I also serve as a trustee on the Alameda County Board of Education, and I represent the Eden area and Castro Valley and a majority of the city of San Leandro. And, you know, and so there are 4 districts that I serve as a liaison with the local school board. And, you know, and I'm always looking at, you know, how are families, you know, traveling in the community that they live? You know, do they have access to safe communities? You know, what do communities look like around schools? You know, I walk or drive, you know, and I pay attention to these factors morning, noon, and night, because, you know, how you see things in the morning could change dramatically at night, and vice versa, you know, and vice versa, depending on what, what's going on in that community. And so, I think being on the chamber board, I'm lucky because I get to kind of connect all these different pieces in order to continue to serve community.
Wow, sounds like you've got such a varied background with such a varied.
And she's so calm, cool, and collective, and just poised. You're so. Did you learn that, or did you get that position because you are that? I mean, you're seeing one slice of me today. It's something that I work at. Something that I work at and then I take pride in. Right, like when I get to show up in spaces, it's not only about me. There are a lot of people who have poured into me. True. And,
I recognize that I get to access environments that not everybody gets to go to. And so, like I hear my I hear my grandmothers, I hear my parents, right. Saying like, you to whom much is given, much is required and expected. And so, I just, when you show up, there is work to do. Like, how am I going to leave the community better? How am I going to create
by dragging
a future?
Trash cans all the way down the boulevard?
Right. Listen.
Oh my gosh, I did a video of that. What was that? The light parade?
It was the light parade.
She committed that too, and I think it was me and Sandy and you and Gary.
We need to acknowledge this moment because this is what people don't see. This is not on the podcast, but let me just tell you, we had an assignment to do to move the garbage cans. So, this is post-light parade. Mm-hmm. People recognize what the street looked like or what the boulevard looked like pre-parade. But, after everybody left, we saw it,
trash cans filled up.
Trash cans were overflowing. Mm-hmm. And we had to move all of those trash cans because there was going to be a pickup, and they needed to be in a specific
area.
We
had to gather them.
And I've done a lot of community cleanups in my lifetime, and that was.
You're like, where are the men at? It was just one Gary. Besides, the amazing Gary Slate, our president and CEO of the chamber, who is just. Yes. The best. Like, if we could give him a raise, I'd give him tenfold.
We had to, compactly move things. We didn't even have grabbers.
And she did it with a smile.
We were, there are worse things. Let me tell you, there are worse assignments, or worse volunteer assignments that I have done than picking up garbage.
Okay.
So I'll take it.
But that was fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
at least it was fun. The Three Musketeers over there too.
But I was saying I am here because a lot of people have poured into me, and so I feel like I have a responsibility to continue the work and carry, their blessings in me forward.
It's funny because you mentioned earlier something about you don't know what your actions, how they're going to be interpreted, or what kind of ripple effects they're going to have downstream. And this is sort of a perfect example of how even just this conversation, people might see this and go, hey, I'd like to get involved with this or that, and you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. So just being able to show up every day and sort of put in what is.
It's so true.
What you're most passionate about, and just take it one step at a time. I mean, that's how big things get done, and just got to take it one step.
It is.
I'm excited to see what's to come from it.
Yes,
we're just lucky to have her.
Thank you.
Love to be able to be involved in any of that kind of stuff. So as it develops, please let us know, and we can be provide music or who knows.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sound
yes.
equipment, anything you need. Love to get involved.
All right, now what else is it you got on your plate there? I know there's something out
what
there.
What else?
Aren't you running
there
for
are
something?
A couple of things. Yes, thank you. I am running for re-election on the Alameda County Board of Education, Trustee Area 4. I'm going to be on the ballot in June in the primary elections.
Aisha
So make sure you vote. Make sure you vote.
What is Area 4?
Area 4 is the Eden area. So Ashland, Castro Valley, Cherryland, Fairview, Hayward Acres, San Lorenzo, and a majority of San Leandro.
So any of those school districts?
So there are 4 school districts that I serve as a liaison to Hayward Unified, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, and Castro Valley.
Okay.
And so the County Office of Education has its own board, the Alameda County Board of Education. There are 7 members on the board, and we all have districts that represent the entire county.
Is Gary Howard on that?
Gary Howard is on the Castro Valley board.
Okay.
But you want to hear a unique story, so in 2010, one of the previous board members for the Alameda County Board of Education, Felix Elizalde, may he rest in peace, he passed away. And there was an appointment process in 2010 that Gary and I want to say like 10 other people applied for to fill the vacancy. The board was going to appoint someone. So Gary and I both applied. We tied for first.
Wow.
We tied for
rock
first.
stars on our board.
Yes. And the board at that time could not break a tie. They could not break the tie. And so there was somebody who tried to pass a motion to draw straws. Then somebody else tried to pass a motion to flip a coin. And
wow.
and each time somebody brought that up just to make a decision, between, Gary and myself, the motion failed because they couldn't get a second. Wow. And so what do you think happened next? When you
did it?
No.
Oh.
The board could not break the tie, so they came up with a compromise that the third place person would serve out the next 2 years of the term until the subsequent primary election. His name was Phil Ledoux, and so he served in the position, and it was based on a promise that he would not run for office after that. Well, and you and I, we know that if you promise that you're not going to run, you don't necessarily have to keep that promise. And so this would bring us to the primary election of 2012. So I decided to run for office, and I won, and have been serving on the board ever since.
Yeah, Aisha.
Thank you.
And was it Phil? Did he run again?
No, he did not.
Oh, that's nice.
He did not.
That's
no,
he's
he's a great person. He is an attorney. I want to say he does a lot of work with CASA, and so he advocates for underserved communities and youth who are in need, and so he is continuing to do the work in a different role.
Wow, that's good. Friendly competition,
right?
Raises everybody up.
Yes.
Then what happened to Gary?
Yeah.
So Gary, so we both ran. So I ran for the county board of education, and then Gary.
You beat him. You were very nice.
No. Gary didn't. Gary didn't run.
Poor Gary.
No. Gary didn't run for the county board of education. Okay. Gary ran for the Castro Valley Unified School District Board of Directors.
Gary Howard, by the way, is our upcoming chair. He's our vice chair currently.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great guy. Yes, smart man.
Cool.
Yes.
So when is that? Elections in June? You said?
In June.
Okay.
In June. Yes.
So we'll be on the lookout for.
Yes. Primary election. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to come about or talk about that's coming up here on the?
No, I mean, unless you have something else you want to share with us.
I would just say, we have the Fall Festival coming up. A lot of great events, which I know you're going to talk about in other podcasts. But if I could just give a lift up the light parade, which is, I think it's an incredible event. It's almost like a mini
fall festival now.
It is.
We have booths there, and the attendance has grown.
I raised my hand and said I would be the co-chair of that this year. So we are going to be planning that early.
I love it.
But, a lot of great things happening in the chamber. It's a welcome environment.
A growing environment.
A growing environment. Yes. And it
sounds like a healthier environment soon.
Yes. No, I mean, and there's a lot of different things going on. So, stay connected with us. If you're a social,
we just don't want to be stagnant.
Yeah,
we just want to make it more exciting, impactful, aware, community driven. We just always try. And if anyone has ideas or want to see something out of the chamber, call us, hit us up. We're just always looking to communicate and grow the community and resources.
Yes,
definitely. Cool. Well,
thank you for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. I just want to say, I am grateful that that I was invited to be a part of this space and share this time with you. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and check out the apology. We're going to get that on our chamber calendar.
Yes.
So make sure.
That would be cool.
And our website, and I know I should have it memorized by now, but www.EdenAreaChamber.com. But we'll also put that on our write-up. So
perfect.
Check us out.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us, Shane.
Yeah.
You're always amazing.
Thank
appreciate
you,
guys coming in
Shane.
again and excited to be here.
And congrats to you. I hear your music studio is rising here.
We are. We're getting busy. It's awesome. We've already got a couple summer camps sold out, and it's only April right now, so
fantastic.
Things are great.
Kudos to you.
Yes, congrats.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right.
All right, guys. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you on the next one.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Thank you for joining us this week on the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Do you have an idea for the show? Or would you like to get involved? We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at info@castrovalleycompass.com. That's info@castrovalleycompass.com. See you next time on the Castro Valley Compass, brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.